Welcome! In this video, we will demonstrate the complete rebuild of the Viking pump GB410 series. This video will cover steps for the GB41018, GB41022, and GB41026 models. Before you begin, please consult the appropriate technical service manual for safety information. A copy of the latest revision can be found on our website at vikingpump.com. Tools required include a soft-headed hammer, nylon block, Allen wrenches, pair of picks, snap ring pliers, impact driver, channel lock pliers, torque wrenches, a length of PVC tubing, brake cleaner, O-ring grease, light oil, P80 assembly lubricant, anti-seize, shop towels, and a scratch pad. Included in your rebuild kit, you will find 2 driver gears, 2 driven gears, 4 bushing blocks, driver shaft, 2 driven shafts, external retaining rings, O-rings, alignment pins, drive pins, bushing block gaskets, head end cap screws, mechanical seal, thrust bearing, seal washer, seal holder O-ring, snap rings, seal holder cap screws, and bearing end cap screws. Before you begin disassembly, place a supporting block underneath the pump. To begin, using a 3/4 inch socket, remove the head mounting foot. Use a 15/16 inch socket to loosen and remove the cap screws on the head end of the pump. Discard these cap screws. At this point, the pump may be oriented into a vertical position to aid with disassembly. Using a 3/16 inch Allen wrench, remove and discard the bearing end cap screws. Set the bearing end cap aside for reassembly. Also, with a 3/16 inch Allen wrench, remove and discard the seal holder cap screws. To aid with seal removal, thread bearing end cap screws into the jackbolt holes located on the seal holder assembly. Alternate tightening these jackbolts to gently push the seal holder out. To break the grip of the mechanical seal, place a nylon block between the seal holder and the bracket. Then, with a soft-headed hammer, tap the shaft until the seal holder assembly is released. Next, remove the thrust bearing from the seal holder. Retain the seal holder assembly and bearing end cap for reassembly. You may discard the other seal components. It is possible that the stationary seal face and retaining ring will remain on the shaft after removing the seal holder. Using snap ring pliers, remove the retaining ring. Remove the stationary seal face. To remove the rotary seal face, first break the grip of the seal by placing a length of tubing over the shaft and tap the seal until it breaks free from the shaft. Using a pair of picks, remove the rotary seal face and spring. At this point, placing the pump flat on the work area will aid in removing the spring guide and seal washer. Finally, with snap ring pliers, remove the retaining ring. Now, remove the bracket. Set this aside for reassembly. Remove and discard the first bushing block. Remove and discard the first driven gear and driven shaft. Remove and discard the first driver gear. Remove the drive pin. Remove the casing and set aside for reassembly. Remove and discard the next bushing block. Remove and discard the casing O-ring and bushing block gasket. Remove and discard the bottom alignment pin. Remove the separation plate and set aside for reassembly. Remove the remaining alignment pin. Remove and discard the next bushing block gasket and bushing block. Remove and discard the second driven gear and driven shaft. Remove and discard the driver shaft. Remove and discard the second driver gear. Remove the final casing and set this aside for reassembly. Remove and discard the final bushing block and bushing block gasket. Remove and discard the casing O-ring. remove the final alignment pins. Prior to reassembly, ensure the pump head, casings, separation plate, and bracket are clean and free of debris. It is recommended to complete all sub-assemblies before starting to rebuild the pump to ensure all components are in place. Begin by applying O-ring grease to the casing O-rings and placing them into the O-ring grooves. Next, apply O-ring grease to the bushing block gaskets and insert them into the grooves of the bushing blocks. Do this for all 4 bushing blocks and gaskets. Applying O-ring grease over the installed gaskets will help hold them in place during reassembly. Install each driven gear and drive pin onto their driven shaft and insert an external retaining ring on each side in the grooves. Apply light oil to the driven gear and shaft and install. It is now time to begin rebuilding the pump. Install the alignment pins into the head. For clockwise rotation, the grooves in the head will be closest to you, with the top of the pump on your left. Double-check this orientation to ensure each pump component is oriented correctly. Install the casing. Apply light oil to the bushing block and casing bores. When installed, make sure the bushing block pin aligns with the groove in the head. Next, lubricate the shaft with light oil and install a drive key in driver gear. Then, install the drive shaft into the top or eye-bolt side of the pump. Apply light oil and install the driven gear in shaft assembly. Next, lubricate and install the next bushing block, ensuring that the bushing block pin is facing up, allowing for the proper installation of the separation plate. Next, install one alignment pin to guide installation of the separation plate. Ensure that the small alignment hole in the separation plate lines up with the bushing block pin. Install the second alignment pin. Lubricate and install the next bushing block, ensuring that the alignment pin lines up with the groove on the separation plate. Install the second drive key in driver gear onto the shaft. Lubricate with light oil. In GB 41022 models, there are 2 gear sizes. The drive gear and driven gear with the longer teeth must be placed in the ported casing section. Install the ported casing. Lubricate and install the second driven gear in shaft assembly. Again, in GB 41022 models, the gear with the longer teeth must be installed in this casing section. Lubricate and install the final bushing block. Make sure the alignment pin is facing up and corresponds with the hole in the bracket. Install the alignment pins. Install the bracket. Place the pump flat to install the head cap screws. Apply anti-seize to the cap screws and install. The head cap screw torque procedure involves 3 rounds. First, torque in a crisscross pattern to 50 foot-pounds, then 75 foot-pounds, then finally 100 foot-pounds. For seal installation, place the pump in a vertical position. Using snap ring pliers, install the snap ring into the groove on the shaft. Make sure it is fully seated in the groove. Install the seal washer. Install the spring guide. Install the spring. Make sure it is fully seated on the spring guide. Ensure the seal holder assembly is clean and free of debris. Next, apply O-ring grease to the seal holder O-ring and install on the seal holder assembly. Install the stationary seal face with the lap side facing up. Apply assembly lubricant and press into place, ensuring that it is fully seated. Next, lubricate the shaft and rotary seal face with assembly lubricant and place on the shaft. You can use the seal holder assembly to press it into position. Ensure that it is fully engaged with the spring. Rinse the seal faces with brake cleaner and install the seal holder assembly. Ensure that the slots on the seal holder are at the 3, 6, 9, and 12 positions. Apply anti-seize to the seal holder cap screws and install. Using snap ring pliers, install the retaining ring in the groove on the shaft. Make sure that the snap ring is fully seated in the groove. Next, lubricate and install the thrust bearing. Make sure the text on the outer race of the bearing is facing out. Install the bearing end cap. Apply anti-seize to the bearing end cap screws and install. Torque the seal holder cap screws in a crisscross pattern to 60 inch-pounds. Torque the bearing end cap screws also in a crisscross pattern and to 60 inch-pounds. Next, install the final snap ring into the groove on the shaft. Pull up on the shaft to make sure that the snap ring is fully seated in the groove. Finally, reinstall the head mounting foot. Torque to 75 foot-pounds. Turn the shaft manually to ensure the pump rotates smoothly. Because of the tight clearances, a spanner wrench may be required. Your Viking Pump GB410 series pump is now ready to be put back into service. For more information, visit our website at vikingpump.com.